Welcome to the channel on a very blustery and cold carport. It's middle of winter here, running up to Christmas now in Manchester. And the missus has asked me if she can make something for Christmas, a cheese board. So that's what we're doing. She showed me one on Etsy, she's seen. Can you make something similar? I went, probably. So I've got some bits and we're going to give it a go. I'm going to grab the camera in a minute, show you what I've got, how much it roughly cost, and how I'm going to put it together. Okay, so let's start with what I've got. What I've got is needed a slate for the middle. Found the place on, I was going to buy a piece of slate or something from B&Q. Found a company on eBay that does sort of like any texture you want on it, on a piece of slate, and that was like 12 quid. So I'm using that as a base. It's 300x200. The idea is it'll fit on this piece of timber, which I've got say from B&Q. It's a bit of furniture pine they have. It's a combination pine. I don't think it's stuck together. I couldn't find anything like a single piece of pine big enough to use. This is 300 by 800 mil, 18 mil thick, and was, I think it was £19. The idea being that this will sit in here, we'll trim it with a 50 mil edge around it, and then I've got this moulding, which hopefully you might be able to see. Give me a second, what shape of it is. If you can see the shape of that. The idea is that this will sit sort of around the edge, and it'll then sit around the slate, create a little recess to allow you to put the knife in and some crackers around it. And that's it now. The only problem I'm going to have with this is this moulding is very small, so I'm not going to be able to nail it. I'm only going to be able to glue it. So I'll have to work out how I'm going to glue it. Add to that, this is again really, really thin stuff. It's 9mm by 9mm. I think this was £4 per 2.4 meter length. I'm going to have to make a jig to cut the 45 degrees, I think, because nothing I've got I think will be accurate enough. I don't want to use the table saw. Again, it's too harsh. It'll rip this to pieces. So I've got a saw I can use. So I'm going to make a jig so we can do the 45s. So yeah, the first thing is to cut this piece down. So I'll get what I need for that, which is going to be my Ferrex circular saw, and then we'll take it from there. Right, let's get this marked up. So we need 400mm long because the board's 300 by 200. This is 300mm wide, so we need 400mm long. I'll do. So that half. Okay, so I think we're going to try and use my long straight edge on this. We're going to give it a go anyway. So. Right, so that's that. Now, what I've noticed on here, see if you can see on it coming out to the camera, is that it's got a slightly beveled edge. So I'm going to have to try and replicate that on this edge and on this new one. So I'm just going to go get a quick plane and just take an edge off that. That's this done, and then I can start looking at doing this trim around it. Okay, so I've got my little plane. I'm just going to try it on this. This is the offcut. Yeah, this is the offcut. Just see if I can get a nice edge on that. I can get an edge. As you can see, because it's the rough edge cut, it's not coming up very well. So I think we're going to leave that bevel. We're going to leave that square so I can easily trim it. I think it's the idea. In fact, we'll just try the other side just for a minute. In fact, you know what? That side's turned out much better. I think we're gonna do that one. I think make it right. Okay, so see this. So this is going to be the top. That's the nicest side. I think like this is the top. Right, so that's those edges done. I'm going to get a little bit of sandpaper and just clean those up before we start putting the border on, I think. Yeah, just got a little bit of 180 grit just to clean this a little bit. Looking. Yeah. Right, let's start looking at doing this. So that's some grit 180 just to tidy up the edges. So that. So how this is going to fit is that's going to go in the middle, and we're going to have some of this moulding that goes around here, a little around the outside, get this little divot in there, and that's it. But in order to do that, what I do is make a little bit of a jig to hold this in, so I can cut it with a nice 45 degrees. So that's the next job. We need to make up a jig. So I'm going to put this one to one side, and we'll get on making a jig. Okay, let's go through how we're going to make this jig. So you'll see I've got a piece of MDF about the same thickness as my moulding. The plan is to cut a section of it off, cut it in half, and then with two sections cut a 45-degree cut through. So when I can screw them back onto this half, I can widen it by the 10mm, that is wide. I'll put a saw through, and I can attach all this so it's a nice jig. So I can lay this in, I can cut, I should be able to turn it both ways to cut as well, so I can get both angles on that, although I might do another one that way. But we'll see how we go on with just a single cut. You should be able to do all the cuts with one, just by changing which way the moulding sits in here. Whether it sits up or it sits down, so we're going to do that. You'll notice I broke up my chop saw for this, so it should be fairly quick. This one, I'll get some screws and we'll screw it together. So, right, let's get on with this. Let me get some gloves on. Right, let's get this chop saw. So what do you think of my jig? Right, start cutting these up. Okay, I'm going to do another test cut. I've done one, it turned out really well. I'm going to do a second one to see how this one turns out. That's a bad cut, so you can get the other half out. There is it. So obviously they're back to front, but I'll give you an idea of the accuracy. I'm quite happy with that. Right, I'm going to get on and do all my cuts. This jig has worked an absolute treat. I mean, don't know, it still needs putting together properly, but these joints are coming in really nice. They do need a sand, which is the next job, and then I need to work out how I'm going to clamp this down, because I said I can't put nails through this because it's just going to split this wood. So I think I'm just going to try and get it tacked in with glue, and then we're going to put a board on top of it and put some weight on it, and hopefully nothing moves. But that's how we are at the moment. Let's move into the workshop. It's a bit warmer. There it is on the workbench. It's roughly put together just to get the sizing. It's time for gluing. I'm just going to use some standard wood glue. I think we're just going to smear it on the backs, place it down, and then my plan is to get something like this drop it on top, and then put something heavy on top of it just to push this into place, and hopefully it won't move. Right, let's get a camera position somewhere, and then we'll get this lot glued inside. Crap. So there we go. It's clamped. Nothing seems to have moved. So hopefully tomorrow morning I'll be able to take this off. A little bit of sanding, and then we've got some food safe furniture wax that's going to go on it, so it can be used for cracking and stuff. You might have noticed I've not glued down the centerpiece, the center slate. The reason for that is I won't be able to take that out so I can clean it easier. So, right, hopefully there'll be a jump forward a day. See you tomorrow. Welcome to the next day. Right, we need to get this off here, make sure nothing of this has moved, and then I think it's going to need a light sanding in places to get rid of the excess glue, and then it just needs a waxing with this beeswax, which has currently been inside with me on top of a radiator because it is freezing today. It was hailstoning last night, and it's still hailstoning now. You might be able to hear it on the roof of the workshop. So right, let's you know what, I think we'll just go to the overhead. I can take all this off, do a bit of sanding, do a bit of waxing. Okay, let's get my nuts and bolt storage tub off. Put away. Weights. Lift this off. Fingers crossed nothing moved. Nothing moved. Okay. Oh, nice. Really happy with that. Really happy with that. Right, I think a little bit of light sanding, and I'll be good to go. And will this pop out? Yep, perfect. Right, I'm going to put that to one side, and then we're going to get some sandpaper and do a bit of sanding on this. Okay, I've just got one of my. I don't want to be using the sander I've got. I'd rather just use some sandpaper just to clean this up. Looking at it, I don't think there's much to actually clean up at all. Okay. Right. So as I say, we've got some Cornish chopping board company traditional beeswax furniture polish. This is food safe. I've never done this before, so this has been on a radiator in the house to warm up. So I'm not exactly sure. Oh god, yeah, it's quite soft, isn't it? Do you just keep clicking some until it's all feels the same? I think this is just to seal it, isn't it? Seal the wood. Bit of a wipe off any excess. I've never done this before. In fact, something else I need to do for the bottom. I've got some sticky pad feet. I'm going to put some of those on as well. We'll grab those. So, got some sticky pad feet. over, one down, and then slide this back in. It goes that way. There we go. What do you think of my handiwork? I'm quite happy with that. Really am happy with that. Right, I think, you know what? I think we need to get it sealed so it looks like it's actually doing the job it's meant to be doing. That requires having to go and get all the cheese out of the fridge. And some crackers. Right, leave me to it. I thought I'd show it all loaded up with cheese and crackers, just to give you an idea how it's going to work. We're still in the workshop. But what do you think? Is this something you'd consider making? It's an easy build, obviously, but I'm quite happy with that actually. How it's turned out. I think it'll look quite good on the table with the buffet tomorrow when we've got family round. I must admit, did enjoy making this. A quick build, and they're always the good ones. So, made it this far. Thanks for watching, and have a fantastic Christmas and New Year. I've got a couple more videos maybe coming up between Christmas and New Year. I'm not sure what they're going to be yet. I've got some ideas, but let's leave it there. Cheers.